Welcome to Ceartas Connect, Create, Change, a podcast to keep you up to date with everything that's going on at Ceartas.
My name is Michelle and I work for Ceartas Advocacy, and joining me today is Rebecca from Playlist for Life. Hello Rebecca, thanks for coming on today. Hi. We'll look forward to what you've got to say. So Ceartas Advocacy provides independent advocacy to adults in East Dunbartonshire, and advocacy helps people access the information they need to make good choices and gives them the help that they need to express themselves clearly. Ceartas prioritise working with certain groups, so it would be older people, people living with dementia, people with mental health, people with a physical disability, people with a learning disability, people with an acquired brain injury, people with sensory impairment, and people who have additional communication needs. Independent advocacy can help people in a number of situations. So just a few examples would be people who would require some assistance attending welfare benefit assessments, helping them to prepare for them, and sometimes advocacy workers actually go along and support them within that assessment. Adult support and protection and the Mental Health Act, but there's so many other ways that the advocacy workers can support people. So my role in dementia is to support people living with dementia at home in East Dunbartonshire, and I help them to try and live their best life. So part of my role is to facilitate decafes, which are really informal meetings where people living with dementia and their carers or the people that support them can meet other people, and they can get a lot of peer support. We have guest speakers into the decafes, and they also get information on health and social services, and that keeps them well connected within their community. So I've invited Rebecca from Playlist for Life today to chat about her role within Playlist for Life and Playlist for Life's lockdown collaboration with Ceartas Decafe. So Rebecca, what can you tell the people listening, what is Playlist for Life?
Yep, so Playlist for Life is a music and dementia charity, and our aim is to get everyone with dementia in the UK to have their own unique personal playlist of songs that are meaningful to them, that are important to them, and we want them and anyone who loves and cares for them to know how to use that music therapeutically. Because building a playlist for life, it's not just, it can be an enjoyable activity, but it also has quite profound impact on people with dementia. It can reduce anxiety for people. It can improve people's mood if they're feeling low. It can make difficult tasks more manageable if people have had a chance to listen to the music in advance of it. And also it can evoke memories, and that really helps people to connect with each other at a time when maybe people feel like they're losing that sense of their self. It brings these memories back and allows them to have really positive conversations with their family. So really what we want to do is just get the word out there to people that music helps, and that anyone can build their own playlist for life.
Mm-hmm. So I know you're quite new to Playlist for Life, maybe in the last year or so, Rebecca, would that be right?
It's actually been 2 years now.
2 years? Oh my goodness, time flies. So what was it that made you want to work for Playlist for Life?
So I've always been interested in music. My degree was in music, but I actually first heard of Playlist when I was working at a care home. I was an activities coordinator, and we saw all the time that music had a great impact on the residents, whether it was me doing a wee sing-along with my guitar, or when we had performers come in for sort of parties with music, we'd see people who normally walked with a Zimmer or a cane suddenly jump up and dance without any help. Mm-hmm. We'd see people who were usually quite withdrawn and didn't communicate, singing all the words to a song. And what we really started to notice was that there was particular pieces of music that were effective for different residents. And my colleague and I started making these personal playlists, basically working on the ethos of Playlist for Life. and it was incredible effects we saw. You know, there was one lady who loved the 1960s soul music, and she was quite often withdrawn and in a really low mood. If you popped her headphones on with it was always Sugar Pie Honey Bunch was the song.
Yeah.
She'd be up, she'd be dancing, she'd have a big smile on her face. There was another lady that always sticks with me that would always sit in her chair and again be really withdrawn. It would be quite difficult to encourage her to get up, to move around or go for personal care, things like that. But if you sung Que Sera Sera or You Are My Sunshine, her head would come up, she'd stand up of her own accord, and she'd dance with you, and you could kind of dance with her over to the dinner table, or the carers could dance with her to go for a bath or whatever it was, and it really helped everyone. You know, not only did it put a smile on her face, but it helped all of us to be able to do our job better and provide better care. So when the job at Playlist came up, for me it was just an opportunity to get the word out there about it and share it with more people, because really that's our main task, is just to get the word out there that it helps. So that's how I got into it.
So you'd already seen from that previous job that it actually works, and the power of music and how it can really affect the sort of well-being of that person, and it also helps to lift the mood of the other people round about. When you see somebody feeling joy, you know, I bet you the staff, I bet you, you know, it warmed your heart as well. So yeah, so you're in the perfect job and you've got the perfect qualifications. So I first heard about Playlist for Life when I was at uni. It was a lecture we had from Andy Lowndes, and he showed a few videos and he just talked about a few people that he'd worked with, and it was a big lecture theatre, so there's probably about 500 people there, and honestly you could have heard a pin drop. It was so quiet, everybody was so interested. A few people were crying at some points. It was honestly, it just was so heartful. So that's when I'd first heard about it, and when I started working for Ceartas, I was keen to connect with Playlist for Life. So I had a few guest speakers who were volunteers at Playlist for Life along to the decafes, just to start introducing the sort of concept and idea behind it. And then I went along and did some training with Playlist for Life as well, and then Ceartas, we signed up to doing a monthly cup of time, so that members of the decafe could come into our office and we could take a little bit of time with them to help them get started, find their music, find out how to find their songs and get on the track with that. So it's been a really positive collaboration, I would say. So obviously, like yourself, Rebecca, during COVID, we've had to change a lot of our working practices, where we're not really having that one-to-one, face-to-face contact with people. So a lot of our work has been done virtually with Zoom, welfare calls, etc. So we've had a collaboration with yourselves and Playlist for Life. So can you tell us a wee bit more about that, Rebecca?
Yep, so normally Playlist for Life is an enabling organisation, so we want to empower people with dementia or carers to be able to make a playlist for themselves, and we do that by training groups such as yourself, as you say, to start to give people a little bit of support, because you're already working with people with dementia anyway. But during the lockdown, as you say, so many groups like Ceartas weren't able to give that same support. You know, now you're doing all these wonderful things online, but it does take a bit of time to get going. And so we saw an opportunity to do a bit of a trial and see how can people still connect through music and build playlists when you're not able to sit down face to face. So we partnered with organisations like Ceartas to refer people with dementia and carers to us, and our volunteer music detectives phoned the people, and over the series of 3 phone calls, just talked to them about music, helped them to track down those songs that had been important to them, that particularly have memories attached and that give them that flashback feeling that takes you back to the particular time in your life. And then they gathered those songs together and sent them out on an MP3 player so that the people would have a way to listen to the playlist easily. And it was just a great success that we saw. It was actually really easy, even over the phone, to have those conversations, to build up a bit of rapport with each other. And, we had lovely examples of someone, one of our volunteers, playing a song down the phone to someone who was so excited that she was kind of kissing the phone. She was just delighted to be able to hear that music. And yeah, just in a time where everyone was so isolated, particularly for carers and people with dementia who were cooped up in the house together, just to be able to have those nice positive conversations was a lifesaver for some people, I think.
Mm-hmm. So can you give us some examples of about how the people sort of responded to their playlist? I call them sort of golden nugget moments when you've just captured something that is so meaningful to them.
Yeah, definitely. So there was a lovely interview that you can listen to on BBC Radio, a couple, Robert and Jean, and what we found with them is that it was just such a nice opportunity for them to talk about the memories. And Jean loves listening to her playlist. I think she sings along quite often. And it just puts a smile on her face, and sometimes she does get a bit emotional.
Mm-hmm.
And Robert will say to her, "Is everything okay?" But she says it's happy tears because it's just such a wonderful thing to have those memories back. And I think Robert gets a bit emotional as well, but they can talk about those memories and enjoy it together. There was another lady who lives with dementia who says she now uses her playlist as a way to relax. So, she takes some time out for herself, she lies on the sofa, she pops on her headphones, listens to the playlist, and that's just her moment in the day to have a bit of peace and have a bit of reminiscence. And the thing is that, for the carers, this can be a wonderful thing as well. Not only because it's nice for them to see the person with dementia get those memories back, but there's one lady in particular told us she listens to herself when she's doing the ironing,
Mm-hmm.
because although it's her husband's playlist and it's his songs and memories, a lot of them are shared memories. So actually she can, listen to herself, be able to reminisce, and it reminds her of her husband as well as her own memories. So yeah, anyone can use it as a really positive experience. And across the board, everyone said how much they enjoyed the process and also the final playlist. So yeah, it's been brilliant.
Yeah, I mean, it's making me smile. It's making me feel really, I don't know, it's just like spine tingling. It's so nice. And there was somebody that you had done the Playlist for Life that had done the music for, and she puts it on her husband and he does the hoovering. Which he always did before, not just since he got the Playlist for Life. So he's quite happily hoovering away listening to his Playlist for Life. And I think that's a really good point that you made, that within couples, if it's somebody's playlist, it is meaningful for that other person as well. So yeah, there are a lot of shared memories there. So that's actually a really good point, Rebecca. So what kind of current projects and opportunities have Playlists got going at the moment?
So at the moment, October is going to be Musical Tea Month for Playlist for Life. So that's really an opportunity that we have for people to raise a bit of awareness about the power of personal music, but also connect with people through sharing those memories. So you can sign up for a physical pack of resources, or you can get a virtual pack of resources. And really, it's just an opportunity to either have a socially distanced get together or meet up with family and friends over something like Zoom and have a cup of tea, have a bit of cake, and just chat about those musical memories. I think everyone I find you're running out of things to say to people a little bit because not much has been going on in the world. This is such a nice way to connect with people in a new conversation. You'd be amazed, even with people who you know really well, the things you can find out about people when you start to talk about musical memories. And yeah, it's just a nice opportunity to do something positive, whether it's just with your family, whether it's your business or or if Ceartas runs one as a community group, anyone can do it. So yeah, you can get onto our website and sign up for that pack. And we're just promoting, really, everyone should connect through music. We've got loads of different resources on our website to get you started and take you through the whole process of making a playlist. And we just encourage anyone, whether you're living with dementia, whether you're caring for someone, or whether you just want to get started on your own playlist, anyone can do this. So get out there, get started.
Yeah, and I think I've been thinking a lot about my own songs and the music that I like, which are very diverse, depending on whether it's a memory from family or music of my parents or whatever. But I think anybody watching this, regardless of having a diagnosis of dementia or not, I think it's something that everybody should do. To use music, and we do use it. We put music. I put music on if I wanted a wee dance in the kitchen, or I put music on if I want to relax, or I've got sort of some meditation apps if I feel I need to just re-energise or whatever. So and it's fun to do, and it's a nice thing to do with somebody else. And as you say, it does bring up a lot of conversations, and you're finding out things. Oh, I didn't know you liked that music, or I didn't know that you used to live abroad when you were younger, so
Exactly.
I took a few wee curveballs and things, so it's interesting. So hopefully Ceartas, we're thinking about having a monthly Zoom just to talk about music, so it'll be along the lines of the cuppa time that we were doing in the office, so still collaborating with Playlists for Life on that, and just getting people on to get them started, getting them thinking about music. So details from that to follow. So thank you very much, Rebecca, for coming along today and telling us all about Playlists for Life. And I can hear that your enthusiasm just when you're talking about it coming through, that you've got a real passion and a heart for the job that you do at Playlists for Life. So thank you for coming along today.
That's great.
Thank you for tuning in to Ceartas Connect, Create, Change. For more information on events and activities, follow us on social media at Ceartas Advocacy.